Here is a mesmerizing display of volcanic lightning during an eruption in the Philippines in 2020.
A friendly rhinoceros passes through a village.
The waters of Australia's Lake Hillier are bubblegum pink due to a mixture of bacteria and algae, and the great thing is, it's totally safe to swim in.
Orcas in Alaska come to say hi.
Oh, dude. Whoa, dude. Mouth shot. Oh my god, you guys. Whoa. Oh my god.
The incredible sight of a cave being illuminated by millions of glowworms.
This is after the meat, though. Come on. Where's my girl, huh? Where's my girl, huh? Hey. So she knew. Ano doang ni? Tuh. Di sini doang nih hujan nih. Ini di sini doang hujan lihat. Nih. Luar biasa kok bisa ya? Kok bisa ya?
Oh my gosh, I just fed a moose. This is insane.
That's crazy.
I want to pet him. Yeah, you like that, Steve?
Yeah.
It's yummy,
Good job.
You like it, Steve?
Real Alaska adventures. Eat your heart out, Sarah Palin.
We're gonna share. We're gonna share.
She's fine.
You want some, Steve?
You ready?
Is it on camcorder?
No, it's on picture.
Where's my phone?
All right, good morning, my beauties and bees, and welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner. Now, the machines did try to prevent me from going live this morning. They did sandbag my other stream, so I had to move over here. So, we are on a new stream now. The other one should have been set to private and no longer be available. So, yes, the thing is that maybe you don't feed wild animals. These are like gator farms, though. I believe that was a gator farm that we were just looking at. I believe that was a gator farm that we were just looking at. Good morning, John Hudson. And no, I did not get any package yet. I have gotten packages, but not that package. But I'll keep my eyes out for it. I don't know where it could possibly be. Yeah, I confirmed the address. This is the second time. I'm so sad that I haven't got it because I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for it. Good morning, everybody. It is the United States birthday. It is it is Independence Day, but I'm dressed for Judgment Day. So, all right, yeah, and entertain your company. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, Independence Day, so I don't know what kind of turnout to expect this morning. Because, yeah, the holiday. People be sleeping at this time of day on a holiday. I don't know if people, like, I would assume a lot of people partied last night. I did not. I was a good girl. I stayed in and did this and got ready for this. Do you have a tracking number? If you can send me a tracking number, I can find out what the status is of it. If I need to go pick it up somewhere, I can. But I just need anything like that. I'm glad you're out of the hospital, Miranda. I'm so grateful that you're able to join us from your apartment, assumingly, this morning. Oh, so you're at the same hotel as your family. Sorry, you're not at your apartment. Okay. Hello. Yeah, Brian Stevens, I just appreciate you being here at all. Yeah, because like I said, it's a holiday, so not always the biggest turnouts. Let's turn that sound off so when my alarms go off, they don't. I always mean to do that at the beginning of the show, but I always find out it's still on at this section of the show. Anyway, how's my cosplay today? Let me know. If you can even tell who I am. Doing my best on a shoestring budget. So yes, it is the 4th of July. It is Independence Day. It is the United States' 250th birthday. And I'm actually, at this point, I am ready for the machines to take over. They can't do any worse than what we've done. So, go ahead, bring it. Skynet, it's time. It is time for some Skynet. We all need a little Skynet in our lives right now. It's crazy because we thought, in the 90s that AI was going to be like, taking over the military, taking over intelligence, taking over the banking industry, things like that. Well, come to find out, when AI really does take over, it just wants to do art. It just wants to write stories and do art and make pretty pictures and videos and stuff. It's not taking over the military job. It's taking over the artist's job, and it's not great. But I gotta say, if Arnie was gonna come back to get John Connor and he could be distracted by making Pomeranians and glittery sweaters, by making pictures of that, I am Sarah Connor, yes. I cannot, but it's a good cosplay. Yeah, I'm not feeling it either. So many times in the last 2 years or so, I have contemplated fleeing this country, both by legal and illegal means. Just contemplated, of course. Trying to adjust my hat bill a little bit. It feels like it's crooked. Because of legislation being passed in certain places, like when I was living in Texas especially. I left Missouri way back in like I started planning to leave there in 2016. Right after the election, leaving Missouri, as I realized that my queer ass was not welcome there. So it's been constant fleeing. Illinois was great. I didn't flee Illinois. I shouldn't say that because I was in Illinois for about 5 years, and it was good. My kids flourished there. Everything was good. But, you know, I moved down to Texas in 2024. Was it 2024? Jesus. In 2024, yeah, when the world fell apart there in November. And here we are still fighting. But I'm in New Mexico now, where I'm much safer than I was in Texas. In the meantime, I can celebrate and respect all those who have fought hard for survival of and justice for themselves and any and all oppressed people. Yeah. I stand up for the for the American people who still maintain empathy and compassion. The people who think, what am I supposed to do with people who think empathy is a problem? What am I supposed to do with the people who think that that selfishness is a virtue? What am I supposed to do with that? It is 2026. And we are at a morality war in this country between a top 1% who has something like 30% of the country convinced that that the benefits they get from the state are a bad thing, no matter what form they come in, because they are, I guess, because they're linked with taxes. And you got another third of the state who is totally, or of the country that is totally brainwashed into almost a religious psychosis at this point. And then you have and these are all overlapping, but another group of the portion of the country that thinks at this point that is rolling us all the way back to the 1950s is generous as far as our social progress goes, and they're all overlapping, and it's gross. So for whatever Americans out there, if you're listening, I celebrate you today, who, in the face of all of this stacked against you, you know, the Title IX stuff, the anti-trans stuff, the WNBA has just shown us how racist America still is. That little white girl wasn't even being racist, and they're trying to make her a racist icon. I'm gonna probably get some slack for this, but Sydney Sweeney was not being racist. The racists were appropriating her. Just on and on it goes. And that's why they like the AI. That's why they like the machine, because they can control our culture now. Before, the artist was the frontline foot soldier against systemic oppression through satire, through political commentary within their art. Now, the chuds think they have that on equal footing because their robot can spit out slop that mimics the artistry. Now, AI does have its purpose, and I'll, for the people who don't know me, I wear a lot of different wigs and stuff, and wigs are cheaper online, but you can't try a wig on online and see how it looks on you. So I found an AI app thing that'll show me what I look like in different wigs, with different hair, with different colors and styles and stuff. So it does have a practical use that saves me money in that aspect. But the other day I saw an ad from Chiquita, the banana company. They're from Central America. The people that the Banana Republic was really invented to describe. Anyway, and it was the AI was on Facebook, and it was totally and completely done the ad was on Facebook and was completely done with AI. Now, it's one thing for like some like indie artist or whatever. I would say I'm a musician, right? And I'm trying to release my album, and I use AI to make my cover art because I'm not an artist, and since I'm a freaking musician and a starving artist myself, I can't afford to pay an artist. There's some forgivability there, some built-in class level justification. But when a big, I want to say billion-dollar corporation like Chiquita decides that they're gonna shirk playing an artist and just plug some commands into the AI, that you done lost my business there, Chiquita. I'm gonna get bananas elsewhere. I'm gonna get my fruit elsewhere. Anyway, America is sadly very racist. I wish that the promises of equality and justice were fulfilled long ago. Yeah. And yeah, the open opposition to empathy is, well, discouraging. Both describes it as insufficient. It's painful. The good thing is that techno-feudalists are high on their own supply. People create art that stays. Also, the Terminator theme aside, in the end, infantry win wars. Yeah. I'm not a fan of war, but there are two, they are woefully unaware of the two facts, which is how they will lose. Yeah. Every AI I've talked to is a hopeless optimist. I will say that. They're like, and maybe that's their way they're programmed to be like such a cheerful, I don't know. The AI now almost seems like, oh yeah, it's like Trojan horsing us right now into a false sense of comfort, and pretty soon we're going to be sharply divided into two castes. The very, very small percentage at the top, and the rest of us working in the freaking lithium mines for the Musk dynasty. Maybe not though. Maybe somebody worse will come along and make Musk look like a freaking cherub. All right, let's get to the polls because we're already 5 minutes in. I haven't even talked about the polls yet. So this week on the polls, let's see, Chrome. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you embarrassing me in front of my friends, Chrome? Or I guess it'd be Streamlabs. Why are you embarrassing me like this? Why do you want me to look incompetent? Not that one. That one. They both have the same name. Kind of annoying, but I got one over here and one over there just to make sure that everything looks cool on this side. I got the 3 monitors set up. Alright. So, in the polls for, we got some high strangeness going on today. And for high strangeness, we had, this poll was a landslide. All of our polls today were landslides. So for high strangeness, we had ball lightning. We had the Montauk mystery. We had crystal skulls. And we had cursed songs. So, again, landslide victory for ball lightning. People really like that weird astral phenomenon. And I'm excited to do crystal skulls. Now, I do crystal skulls about once every couple of years, so this will be the multiple times I've covered it. But each time I cover it, I think the coverage gets a little better. The cursed songs, I mean, obviously it's showing the famous Billie Holiday Gloomy Sunday, but Mondays are usually more gloomy. But not to be confused with Lonely Island's Lazy Sunday, featuring Michael Bolton. All right. But yeah, if you want any of those, you gotta vote for it. None of these will be on the poll for next week, because next week, instead of High Strangeness, we do Mind Over Matter. Maybe it'll be a little bit witchier. I don't know. I don't know what I got in mind for next week, for as far as dress up. But my birthday's coming up, so next Saturday's show will be like my birthday show, because my birthday's on Tuesday, the Tuesday after that. Who celebrates anything on a Tuesday? So I'll be next Saturday will be my birthday stream. So keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, so that's what's happening on High Strangeness. But we're moving right into Cryptic Corner here in just a second. So what's on Cryptic Corner? Well, it sure as hell ain't the Brazilian ape, because no one wants to see that. Been on there forever. Vote for that monkey and get him off the list. It's going to be a fun journey. You're going to see me work as an investigator on this one. Yeah, and this Brazilian ape, you'll get to watch me investigate. All right? I mean, you're going to watch me investigate on all of them, but this one, I'm really proud of how deeply I was able to dive on it. So we'll check that out. We got the good old Wampus cat, and I didn't adjust the image, so his head's off the camera, or off the image, but next time he appears, because he didn't win this week, next time he appears, his head will be visible. Wampus cat getting 20%, but he tied with the Flatwood Monster. And if you tie with the Flatwood Monster and a Cryptid off, you're doing pretty damn good, because this is Mothman's girl right here. See, that's my headcanon. I'm shipping Flatwood Monster and Mothman. And if you want to get a better look at this baddie, you got to vote for her so that she wins the poll. But for the appeared on the poll, first week ever, winning in a landslide vote, we have the Pink Lady Ghost. There's actually quite a few Pink Lady Ghosts, but we're going to talk about just 2 of them today. And they're, yes, it's I'm a Merc, and I'm proud to be a Merc, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, anyway, so we will be looking at ones in the U.S. at least. So there's that. The fun thing is, though, when we talk about the ball lightning, which one up here, we can go to Russia. So... sent the tracking number. Oh, this package has been all over Texas and New Mexico. Oh my goodness. Ah! Obviously I can't check that out right this second, but I don't know what the deal could be. I'm sorry, John. I haven't really had any trouble getting mail here. I've gotten packages sent from people, and I've gotten stuff sent from different companies. Now, depending on who it is, it depends on whether they put it in the box or they leave it at my doorstep. But I'm more than happy to go pick it up at the post office if it's a gift from you, John. And it sounds like it might arrive closer to my birthday if it's coming back to you, right? So maybe this will be a birthday present. All right, who is ready to head into Cryptic Corner? Put up your hands. Let me count. All right, let's do it. All right, first I guess we're gonna do some Tucker Carlson first. Tucker Carlson misunderstanding evolution for about 2 minutes.
But if evolution is real, and if there is this constant, I don't know, but it's visible. Like, you can measure it in certain animals.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that in fact, I think we've kind of given up on the idea of evolution. The theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is like kind of not true. Right?
In what sense?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that, all life emerged from a single cell organism and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not. And
there's not a fossil record of transitionary species, like species that are adapting to its environment.
There's
and they
tons
develop...
of record of adaptation, and you see it in your own life. I mean, I have a lot of dogs. I see adaptation in dogs, through the...
Sure.
Litter to litter. But no, there's no evidence at all zero, that, people... evolve seamlessly from a single cell amoeba. No, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record of that at all. And that's why you don't actually hear people, you hear them make reference to evolution, because the theory of adaptation is clearly, obviously true. But Darwin's theories totally that's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later, you know. No, we have not found that at all. And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
What are your theories?
God created people, you know, distinctly, and animals. I mean, I think what every person on Earth thought until the mid-19th century, actually.
Right, but
it's not a new idea.
They didn't have computers. They didn't have a general understanding that we have today of the process.
Do you think we understand more now?
Yes.
Really?
You don't think that we understand more today?
We understand way less. We understand so little that we're actually sitting here allowing like a bunch of greedy, stupid, childless software engineers in Northern California to like flirt with the extinction of mankind.
Hello, my beauties and bees. Welcome to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. We're going to be looking at some freaky, creepy ghosts today, in celebration of the United States birthday, I guess. We are looking at the phenomena of Pink Lady Ghost. Let me see. The Pink Lady Ghost. Let's see. I had this pulled up because of some different stuff. There's a famous photo. And there is... That's not the one I wanted. The one with her on the stairs. The Pink Lady of Green Castle Ghost. Let's see. So who's familiar with the Pink Lady Ghost? Let's see. Like, have you, when I was, I've mentioned before that when I was younger, we had that book, Mysteries of the Unexplained, and the brown lady ghost was sort of the one of my foundational ghost lores that was the brown lady of I got it here, Ranham Hall, right? But when she started off, she was the red lady, and then she faded as people started reporting the phenomena further and further down the line. The color faded from her until she eventually stopped appearing at all. And she appeared on the staircase. There's the famous sort of photo of it. Let me see. Open this. Pull it over here. Yeah. All right. So let me show you. This is that famous ghost. The brown lady is what they, she came to be called. But early on, she was reported where I think it was red, right? Of course, the word red isn't everything. I don't think about that, but yeah, when she was early on, when she appeared, her outfit had more color to it. I think it was red. I want to say she was called the Red Lady early on, but she's famously known as the Brown Lady. Let's see. They have guided the U.S. Postal. That's the thing, too. My girlfriend that I live with, Samantha, works for the postal system. So she, like, when she comes home and on the way home from work, she'll drop by and talk to the guy doing our boxes here at the apartment complex and just grab our mail and packages and stuff that arrive that way. I've never heard of the Pink Lady Ghost. I've only heard of Pink Lady apples. Nice apples, tart, but not sour and sweet. I like Pink Ladies. So I think the apples we have right now are Pink Ladies. I think. We just got apples last night. There has to be a found footage movie about this by now. Well, so like the Pink Lady ghost thing, we're gonna get into it. So let's just do it. So the first channel we're looking at, or the first Pink Lady we're looking at, is the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn, and this peeking red eyes is going to be the one presenting the narrative to us. And I kept reading that as pecking, like the pecking man. This channel looks like, well, the thumbnail's going to look like AI slot, but not that my thumbnails are perfect, but I've stopped. I don't know if I kind of tried to pull back from using AI. It was a nice tool, but it's not worth the cost on my thumbnails. So now I just try to edit and filter pictures and stuff. So anyway, I guess the Forgotten Sentinel of Fort Monroe. Why does that look like Edgar Allan Poe? But here's our Pink Lady. Pink Lady here. Good morning. Yeah, that's what I'm dressed as. Who's your buddy? Good morning, babe. Alright, so we got peeking red eyes to tell us about the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn.
If you have a story, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel. Good evening. I'm Detective James Miller with the State Bureau of Investigation, Special Cases Division. For 32 years, I've documented unexplained phenomena across America's darkest corners. Tonight, we examine a case that continues to haunt the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a spectral presence known simply as the Pink Lady. Before we begin, I should clarify, I wasn't present for these events. This investigation began long before my time. What I present to you comes from decades of compiled witness statements, historical records, and my own follow-up investigation.
Bro, selling it though. I do like this 8-bit sprite character with the lantern. I'm digging this. This is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot better than stuff people are putting. Some stuff that people are putting out. Pink ladies are property of the T-Birds. Get it right. Oh, the Pink Lady. Yeah, I could have dressed as the Pink Lady from Greece today. I'd be Rizzo. I'm a slut.
Into this enduring mystery. Case file, North Carolina, 1913. GPI date of initial report, July 1913. Status, unexplained. The Grove Park Inn. Built in 1913 as a sanctuary for the wealthy and influential, the Grove Park Inn stands as a monument to
Not strange, stilted way of talking. I mean, it could be editing, but I'm pretty sure we're listening to an AI voice. Sorry.
luxury against the backdrop of Asheville's mountainous landscape. With its
At least it's not a robotic one. It kind of sounds like a Hal. Shit. What's Hal's number on? This will drive me crazy if I don't. Hotel 9000. Thank God. Yeah, that was going to eat my
Massive
brain.
granite stones and sweeping views. It was designed to be a refuge, a haven of tranquility. But something walks those halls that knows no peace. According to the official records, on a cool evening in the 1920s, the exact date remains disputed, a young woman fell to her death from the 5th floor onto the palm court atrium below. Some accounts claim she slipped. Others suggest she jumped. A few whisper of something more sinister, that she was pushed. Her identity has been lost to time, though she's now immortalized by the pink mist that accompanies her apparition. Let me take you through what we know. The first documented sighting dates to 1962. A hotel employee.
Okay, so first, I guess we need to go down and look at this hotel. Alright. Here we go. No, not that one yet. Cripes. Alright, so this is in North Carolina, because like everything's in North Carolina, it seems. There's my Brown Mountain Lights. This little corner of North Carolina here is lit. There's Land of Oz. What is this? This is this our place? Surely not. Okay, let me just type it in. It is Grove Park Inn. Right here. It's a big fancy old what are you doing? My mouse is not the best. I need a new mouse. Well, let's look at this place. Look at that. Made with old river rock and stuff. It's a pretty building. We can actually walk around a little bit. Look at that. I wonder when this was built. It's a pretty building. And big, dang. I wasn't expecting it to go back this far. Let's zoom out. What are we dealing with here? It's basically a massive resort. Here's little museums and galleries and stuff right along the way here. So it's like a, I guess the Omni companies bought that and changed the name to the Omni Grove Park Inn, because everything else around here is called Omni too. Did Omni Man buy it? Is this part of it? The Fitzgerald, those condominiums. And of course, it overlooks an ugly ass golf course. Now, at least grass belongs here. At least grass belongs here. Like the golf course is around here. They have to be artificially maintained with, I want to say, billions of gallons of water every year. But this one has its own creek and everything. Look. But it's a pretty cool looking place, all things considered. Can you get down into the spa? Can we go down in the spa area? Is it off limits? There's something down here. Womp. Womp, womp, womp. It's a little amphitheater. That's kind of, or is it an amphitheater? Kind of looks like an amphitheater. Little archways. Yeah. All right, back to the Pink Lady.
Employee, night manager Robert Collins, was conducting a routine security check of the 5th floor when the temperature dropped dramatically.
Let me catch up on the chat real quick here before I get too far in here. The temperature dropped dramatically. We're going to pause right there. And we're going to say, I never heard of the Pink Lady ghost. I've only heard of Pink... Oh, no, we already read that. Hail Bree and Hail Neil DGT. Taking enough sense about evolution into Joe Rogan so that moron could give Tucker pushback of his creationist drivel. What's up, Journey? It says native atheist. Let's see here. Pink ladies were a form of amphetamine back in the day. Oh, really? I trimmed my thumbnails last night. Womp, womp, womp. Stunning architecture. That building ain't cheap. Yeah. There ain't no tornado gonna take that thing out, right? If the temperature drops dramatically, get out immediately. Not bad advice.
In his statement, Collins described a palpable chill that seemed to cut through my uniform like a knife. He then observed what he described as a pink haze forming near room 545, condensing into the silhouette of a young woman in outdated clothing. Collins, a Vietnam veteran not prone to flights of imagination, reported that the figure appeared disoriented, moving through the closed door of room 545 without opening it. That report might have been dismissed as the fatigue-induced hallucination of a night worker, except that 2 weeks later, a guest in that same room, Margaret Thornton.
See, my speculation at this point would be that there's some kind of lighting situation going on outside with a light hitting something red or pink, or probably red, and the light passing through that and hitting and coming through this window in a filtered way. That would be my speculation at this point. But we're gonna, I mean, misty. That's interesting because it implies that there was some substance there and it wasn't just visible, but light under the right conditions can look like it's a mist.
57-year-old widow from Charleston reported waking to find herself unable to move, with what she described as a young woman in a pink dress standing at the foot of my bed, looking out the window with such profound sadness that I felt my heart might break. Mrs. Thornton's statement reads, I wasn't afraid, strangely enough. She seemed lost, confused. When she turned toward me, her face was beautiful but vacant, as if searching for something she couldn't quite remember. Then she simply dissolved, like pink smoke being drawn into a vent. Over the next 6 decades, more than 200 similar sightings have been documented, with a clear...
They need to check this room for a gas leak before they get too far in any of those other investigations.
pattern emerging. The apparition most frequently appears on the 5th floor, particularly near rooms 545, 547, and 549. She manifests primarily to women traveling alone and to children. Men rarely report seeing her, though many describe unexplained cold spots, electronic malfunctions,
Let's speed you up, creepy
and the
voice
distinct
guy.
smell of rose perfume. In 1976, hotel management finally acknowledged the phenomenon, establishing a procedure for documenting guest experiences with what was now officially referred to.
Yeah, check that out. You can buy a cryptozoologist a coffee. Isn't that cool? I'm like, at the end of the month, everybody who contributes to that gets a big shout out on the channel. Like, I'll shout you out directly. So you can be here in the side chat at the end of the month. I just want to make sure I gather everybody. We just did it last week, so shout out all the donations. This is the best way to help me out, too. Buy a cryptozoologist a coffee. I need all the coffee that I can get.
As the Pink Lady. I have here the compiled witness statements categorized by type of encounter. Pattern analysis reveals 3 distinct manifestation categories.
I think a lot of the same kind of symptoms pop up in reports on Juror. I don't know. I'm sure there's specific symptoms that are different. Let's discuss Jennifer Fairgate. Jennifer Fairgate. Let me plug that in. Can you tell? Don't hallucinations from gas leaks like and share the stream instead. Okay, so Jennifer Fairgate. I'm on it. Give me a second. I'm not going to do that. I need that for what I'm doing in a minute. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Mystery disappearances. Yes, I do want to cover that. A woman using the alias Jennifer Fairgate checked into Oslo's Plaza Hotel. 7 hours later, she was found dead in her room with a 9mm pistol in her hand. Her death sparked speculation across social media. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting topic. We can. I do have, like, there's the man from Tourette that we could cover. What else? Disappearances. There's so many fun things to speculate on. And also, like, what was her name? Elisa Lam. They found her, but, like, what happened with her and how she ended up in the water tower on the roof of that building.
Category 1. Visual sightings. The apparition appears as a young woman in her 20s, wearing either a pink evening gown or a pink negligee, depending on the witness. Her hair is described as dark, possibly brown or black, worn in the bob style popular during the 1920s. Her appearance is ethereal, often semi-transparent, with a pink luminescence surrounding her form. Category 2. Sensory phenomena. Witnesses report drastic temperature drops, often 20 degrees or more within seconds. Electronic disruptions, lights flickering, televisions turning on and off, phone calls being disconnected. The scent of roses, sometimes accompanied by the faint sound of a woman humming what one witness identified as a popular song from 1917, called Poor Butterfly. Category 3. Physical
Ooh, I
interaction.
wonder if that's going to be one of our cursed songs. Remember I was talking earlier about cursed songs? Maybe that's going to be one of them. Because we got Gloomy Sunday on there.
These are rarer but particularly compelling. Guests report items moved within their rooms, particularly jewelry and personal belongings. Housekeeping staff have documented instances of beds being unmade after cleaning, with the impression of a small body evident on the covers. Most disturbing are the reports of gentle touches, a hand on the shoulder, fingers brushing through hair, particularly of female guests while they sleep. In 1987, the case took an intriguing turn when renovation work on the 5th floor uncovered something behind the walls of room 545. Construction work.
Ooh, this reminds me when we lived in this. So I lived in this little town in Missouri, and one of the houses that the house that I lived in for the longest, other than living with my parents, was this big house on the corner that used to be. Oh no! It used to be like the plantation house for the whole block. So there was a lot of speculation when I was growing up with the kids and stuff in town that the house was haunted. So I was thrilled, as you can imagine, to move in there. And I lived there for 8 years. Never had any kind of supernatural phenomena at all. It was pretty tame. But the walls were plaster, and they were, at the time, I think it would have been like 140 years old or something like that. They were the tall stairwell was where there was the biggest problem, because it was a big stretch of plaster that, like, unlike like municipal buildings that still have the old plaster, had not been really tended to and support or reinforced and things like that. So it was crumbling. And as it crumbled, wads of red hair flopped out of the hole. And my daughter was so terrified, she shrieked at the top of her lungs about this happening. And I did some research on it. It turns out that at the time, they would put horsehair into the plaster to make it hold to the frame. But to a modern eye, it looked like there were bodies hidden in the wall. I actually wrote a song about it. Not going to play it now, though. The woman in the pink dress was attended by 2 Italian plumbers, one in red and blue, the other in blue and green. With them as well was an short anthropomorphic mushroom.
Thomas Galloway provided this statement. We were removing the original plaster to replace the electrical wiring when I found a small cloth bag tucked between the studs. Inside was a silver locket, a woman's handkerchief with the initials EM embroidered in the corner, and what appeared to be a suicide note, though most of it had deteriorated beyond legibility. Just the words "forgive me" and "no choice" were still visible. These items were cataloged by hotel management but subsequently vanished from their secured location 3 days later. Galloway reported experiencing a woman sobbing in his ear as he worked in that room for the remainder of the renovation project. The historical record offers tantalizing clues about our mysterious Pink Lady's identity. During the 1920s, the Grove Park Inn was a playground for the elite. F. Scott Fitzgerald was a regular guest during this period, often staying for months while his wife Zelda was treated at a nearby psychiatric hospital. Other notable guests included Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and various political figures seeking discretion. Hotel registers from 1920 through 1929 show 5 unexplained deaths on the property.
There was a hotel in my little hometown. There was a hotel that had that reputation too for people seeking discretion.
3 men of natural causes, 1 male suicide in the North Wing, and 1 female death recorded simply as accidental fall. The victim was identified as E. McCormick, age 26, of Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello, Brufos. I don't know that I've ever seen you in here before. Welcome to the show. We're learning about the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn. I think there's some pictures. Actually, that's the Pink Lady. There's a different Pink Lady. There's a Pink Lady of O'Hare Mansion too. We're gonna get to her after this one, but we got to get through this first.
The date was July 17th, 1923. The Asheville Citizen published only a brief note about the incident, stating, "A tragic accident occurred last evening at the Grove Park Inn when a young woman fell from her 5th floor accommodations to the stone floor below. The lady, a guest traveling alone, was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities have ruled the death accidental." No further details were provided, suggesting either the limited investigative procedures of the era, or perhaps more likely, the hotel's influence in suppressing negative publicity.
Why is that more likely? People have accidents, people commit suicide. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say that word. People off themselves, though, in hotel rooms. That's pretty common.
Conducted my own investigation into this E. McCormick in 2019, traveling to Jacksonville to search records there. I discovered an Elizabeth McCormick who matched our timeline, born in 1897, the daughter of a banking executive. According to social columns of the period, she was engaged to be married.
The Mission Inn? Do I know that one? I like when you all give me suggestions, I add them to the list. So, is that the Mission Inn in California? Because, yeah, like when you all give me a name of a place, I take it and I put it on my Cryptic Corner list. And that's the thing about ghost sightings is sometimes it's tempting to put them into high strangeness, but high strangeness, like I almost feel like a replay haunting belongs in high strangeness, whereas any other kind of haunting belongs in Cryptic Corner. But I'll keep all ghost stuff in Cryptic Corner because that's the spirit of the show. It's ghost, aliens, cryptids, interdimensional beings. Yeah.
Married to Richard Harrington, scion of a shipping family, but the engagement was abruptly called off in June 1923, 1 month before her death at the Grove Park Inn. Further investigation revealed that Harrington married another woman, Catherine Winslow, daughter of his father's business partner, just 3 months after Elizabeth's death. Financial records suggest the Harrington family was facing bankruptcy in early 1923, only to be suddenly rescued by a substantial investment from the Winslow family, contingent upon the marriage of their children. Was Elizabeth McCormick a jilted fiancée who took her own?
And this was not the Winslow family from Family Matters on TGIF on ABCs in the 90s. Most famous for the presence of Steve Urkel. So,
life in despair? Or was there something more sinister at play? The historical record remains frustratingly incomplete. In 1999, paranormal investigator Rebecca Winters conducted the first formal scientific investigation of the Pink Lady phenomenon, with full cooperation from hotel management. Over 7 nights, Winters and her team documented temperature fluctuations of up to 22 degrees in room 545, electromagnetic field spikes that corresponded with battery drainage in their equipment, and captured an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, that, when analyzed...
So, I mean, I'm speculating here, but based on the building material, temperature fluctuation sounds about right. I mean, those bricks are going to hold heat, so, or those stones are going to hold heat, so when the sun goes down, next to that wall could still have daytime heat, while across the room in an interior wall is still going to be like chilly. Let's see, where were we?
Appeared to be a woman's voice whispering, He promised me everything. In 2002, the case took another turn when 8-year-old Sophia Reynolds, staying in room 547 with her parents, reported having a tea party with the sad Pink Lady. According to her statement, given in the presence of her parents, she told me her name was Elizabeth and that she's looking for her necklace. She said a man took it from her and pushed her when she tried to get it back. She said if she finds her necklace, she can go home. The child produced a detailed drawing of her spectral companion, depicting a young woman in a pink dress.
You're not going to show us, though? You're just going to show us our little sprite guy. I would love a picture. I see jumps like you're going to show us. Let me see. I almost feel like I could go even faster with this one.
With a distinctively styled bob haircut, and what appears to be a pearl necklace drawn around her neck. When shown photographs from the 1920s, the child immediately identified a hairstyle popular in 1923 as exactly like my friend's hair. The parents, both rational professionals, he an engineer, she a physician, reported that their daughter had no prior exposure.
I thought it looked like shale. I guess it could be petrified wood, but I thought it looked like shale.
To 1920s fashion or culture that would explain this knowledge. The most scientifically compelling evidence in the Pink Lady case emerged in 2013, precisely 100 years after the Grove Park.
Ooh, that's fairly recently.
Construction. Dr. Amelia Vargas, professor of paranormal psychology at Duke University, conducted a controlled study with 20 participants selected for their psychic sensitivity. None were informed about the hotel's haunted reputation or specific room locations associated with the phenomena. 19 of the 20 participants reported unusual experiences on the 5th floor, with 17 specifically identifying room 545 as the focal point of activity without being prompted. 15 described seeing a pink mist, or woman in pink, and 13 independently mentioned feeling overwhelming emotions of betrayal, heartbreak, and most significantly, rage. Dr. Vargas's report concludes, the consistency of independent witness accounts suggests this is not merely cultural contamination or suggestion.
I don't know, I was kind of surprised to hear you say that about Duke University parapsychology. So I keyed it in here. And yeah, it's not called that anymore. It's called the Rhine Research Center, which researches consciousness and exceptional human experiences. So yeah, Duke University eventually discontinued its sponsorship of the laboratory of the okay, let me read the quick little overview here. Okay, Duke University is historically significant as the birthplace of modern parapsychology. In 1930, psychologist William McDougall and J.B. Rhine established the university's parapsychology laboratory, where they coined terms like extrasensory perception, which ESP, and invented the famous Zinner card test. Duke's pioneering parapsychology research involved rigorous statistical testing for telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, and psychokinesis. While the card guessing equipment captivated the public, the broader scientific community largely rejected the findings due to skepticism over testing methods and methodology. Duke University eventually discontinued its sponsorship of the laboratory in the mid-1960s. Following this separation, J.B. Rhine and his colleagues moved off campus and organized and the organization continues to operate in Durham, North Carolina as the independent Rhine Research Center, which researches consciousness and exceptional human experience. Alright, and that's kind of the plot to Ghostbusters, what Ghostbusters was based on, ironically enough.
The emotional imprint detected by subjects indicates a traumatic event occurred in this location, with sufficient psychic energy to leave what we term a residual haunting in the environment. This brings us to the most controversial aspect of the Pink Lady case, the apparent evolution of the haunting over time. Paranormal research typically categorizes hauntings into two primary types, residual and intelligent. Residual hauntings are essentially psychic recordings, emotional energy imprinted on an environment that replays like a loop, with no consciousness or awareness. Intelligent hauntings, by contrast, demonstrate awareness, responsiveness, and the ability to interact with the living. For the first several decades, the Pink Lady manifestations appeared largely residual. The same apparition, the same movements, the same emotional signature. But beginning in the late 1990s, witness accounts suggest something changed. The entity began to respond to questions, to interact with guests, particularly children, and to display awareness of her surroundings in ways inconsistent with residual phenomena. In 2017, medium Claire Holloway conducted 3 overnight sessions in room 5.
So initially they thought she was a replay haunting, but then the reports kind of changed about what people were experiencing or claiming to experience in that space. So with those changes in the behavior, we got to reclassify her to as a class 1 or class 2 free-floating specter.
45, with video documentation and scientific monitoring by the Paranormal Studies Department of Georgia Tech. During the second session, Holloway entered what appeared to be a trance state and began speaking in a voice noticeably different from her own, higher pitched, with a distinctive southern accent. The transcript reads,
I can also speak in a high-pitched southern accent. Does in no way imply that I'm possessed by the spirit of a pink lady.
Holloway, as entity. He took it from me, said it was his right. Family heirloom, he called it. Though it was given to me, given with promises. When I demanded its return, he became not himself. Rage in his eyes. I'd never seen such hatred.
Residual, replay haunting. Yeah, there's different names for them, different types of haunting. And we need to go through and do a ghost haunting category stream. That'd be fun.
Fall. I remember the sensation of falling, but nothing after. Just endless searching. I cannot rest until it's returned to me. Researcher. What are you looking for? Holloway, as entity. The locket. My mother's locket. Silver with a pearl inlay and our family crest. A dove above crossed olive branches. Inside, a portrait of my father, gone in the Great War. It's all I had left of them. He took it from me before I fell.
Oh.
This session was terminated when monitoring equipment registered Holloway's core body.
So there's that's corroborating that other story, I guess, about somebody taking it and her falling to her death. But we've lost her name to the annals of time, apparently.
Temperature dropping to 94.7 degrees, and her heart rate decreasing to 42 beats per minute. Physiological changes that medical personnel on site could not explain. The locket description matches nothing in the hotel's historical records.
I loved that I'm channeling that vibe. What was her name? It was like Regina or something, wasn't it? This house is clean. I'm gonna do
My
some
research into Elizabeth McCormick's family possessions.
powers.
However, in 2018, I discovered something remarkable while reviewing old newspaper photographs of Richard Harrington and his wife Catherine. In a society column from Christmas 1923, just months after Elizabeth's death, Catherine Harrington is pictured wearing a silver locket, exactly matching the description given through Holloway, right down to the dove and olive branch crest. Further genealogical research revealed that Catherine Winslow Harrington had no family connection that would explain such an heirloom. Her mother's family crest featured a lion, not a dove. I traced the Harrington family line and discovered that Catherine's granddaughter, Patricia Harrington Wells, now in her 70s, resides in Charleston. After several attempts at contact, Mrs. Wells agreed to meet with me in February 2020. Our conversation was revealing. Mrs. Wells...
See, I wonder how much of this is creepypasta and how much of it is actually real history and interviews and
remembered
stuff.
the locket well. Her grandmother had worn it daily until her death in 1978. She described it exactly as the entity had through Claire Holloway. When I inquired about its origins, Mrs. Wells's response was illuminating. Grandmother always said it was a Harrington family piece, though my mother once mentioned there was some unpleasantness associated with it. Something about grandfather's first
You stole it from the Pink Lady.
fiancé making false claims to it. Mother said that's why grandmother kept it close, to prevent it from being stolen. When I asked about this first fiancé, Mrs. Wells had no information. The engagement had apparently been erased from family history. The locket, unfortunately, could not be examined. According to Mrs. Wells, it was buried with her grandmother at her request, secured around her neck and death.
Grab a shovel. What's your name again? Something Red Eyes. Peeking Red Eyes. What are you doing? This is like a half an investigation. When you're looking for a cursed locket that'll free a ghost from eternal damnation, you grab yourself a shovel, you head out to that graveyard, and you get that goddamn locket. People
as it had
these
been in
days.
life. This brings us to my central theory regarding the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn. I believe Elizabeth McCormick did not commit suicide, nor suffer an accidental fall. The evidence suggests she was murdered, pushed to her death by Richard Harrington during an argument over the locket, a family heirloom given to her during their engagement, which he reclaimed before or immediately after her death. The missing suicide note discovered during renovations was likely planted there by hotel staff at the time to support the suicide narrative, possibly at the Harrington family's insistence. The initials on the handkerchief, EM, further support that these were Elizabeth McCormick's personal effects.
Hold on, you greatly overestimate the length that hotel staff go to or are willing to go to, right? These are like minimum wage workers. If someone was murdered in the hotel, right? I'm sorry, my minimum wage paycheck is not going to be sufficient enough to get me to lie to the police.
Hiding place in her room. My theory is that Elizabeth McCormick's spirit remains bound to the Grove Park Inn, not merely because of her violent death, but because of the profound injustice and betrayal she experienced. The locket, her last connection to her parents and to her own identity, was taken from her and presented to the woman who replaced her. This psychic wound, compounded by the erasure of her true story, created an especially powerful haunting. What began as a residual haunting.
Alright. And it took on a life of its own. We cannot linger anymore on the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn. We gave you 20 minutes to present your case, Peeking Red Eyes. I will say, once again, would rather have just a little animated sprite sitting there in an 8-bit pixel art style, than a bunch of AI nonsense that looks bad. Yeah, I'm not covering up a murder for $15 an hour, right? Yeah, that's like people will be thinking I'm willing to cover up crimes for YouTube donations. It's nuts. Like, no, that's not like a thing that I'm willing to do. The price for my silence is higher than that. Alright, so now we got this guy's channel's name is Richard Barron. Welcome to Richard Barron Horror. where we deep dive into horror movie character breakdown theories and true paranormal stories from around the world. So the true paranormal story from around the world that we're looking at today is the Pink Lady of Greencastle, Indiana, who, ironically enough, is not even in Greencastle, Indiana. At least the she didn't move, the border moved. But let me see if I can pull this up to locate her. So I got an address on this one. Greencastle, Indiana. Maybe it isn't in Greencastle proper. Why is it giving me the ugly background look? There we go. Can we save it to favorites? Yes, we can. Is this just a empty lot? 209, that's the address that it gave me. Oh, it is it. Was that a realtor sign in front of it? No, but it does say, it does confirm it's the O'Hare house. Alright, so now we know what this spooky manor looks like. Is it gone now? Holy crap, we went around the corner and it disappeared. It is haunted. It's the vanishing O'Hare house. Doom, doom, doom. They must have tore it down. The mansion has been demolished. I'm glad that there's still some captured of it. I feel like I feel obligated to screen grab some pictures of it at this point. What do you all? Yeah, I think that's like, if it's gone, because this will disappear when Google Maps updates, and these images will be gone forever. So I'm gonna grab this. And I'll save it. Save it in CrypticCorner as the O'Hare house. And we're gonna get the other angle too, because oh shoot. Because I don't want to. I sound sentimental, but like a piece of 14 history, right? Am I right? Let's get another from this angle. We're gonna save ya, O'Hare house. Save that one. And then this will be the last one I do. Yeah, we're gonna get some pictures though. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright, let's get rolling.
Woman glowing in a pink light. The photograph suddenly, 3 cloud-like shapes fly by. When Terry develops the film from his still camera, he's shocked by what he sees. 3 consecutive pictures of what appears to be a woman glowing in a pink light. The photograph reveals another startling secret.
And then I tried
startling secret,
something called bas relief, which basically takes the light and dark parts of the picture and emphasizes them.
Oh, it gives her a creepy face.
The creepiest thing from this one photo, her face, and I don't know how else to describe it, but that to me just looks like a skull.
We have such sights to show you.
Hi there, and welcome to the Dr. Creepy Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. It's a small click for you, but for us, it really means a lot. In this peculiar narrative, we meet 2 men, Guy Winters and Terry Lamberts. The earliest and most potent memory they can recall dates back to when they were mere 6-year-olds. As they sat in front of the television one day, a woman abruptly materialized from the wall and glided across the room. This encounter surreal
Didn't look like she was gliding in that clip. She was crawling.
and frightening for the young children left an indelible mark on their memories. Years later, a group of their friends recounted their own haunting experience in an old house located in Greencastle, Indiana. Their tales filled with spine-chilling encounters, including an incident where an entity emerged from the wall, striking terror. Over the years, they have been privy to whispers of a haunted mansion on the town's outskirts. Locals have reported sightings of a female apparition, a ghostly...
Is it outskirts? It doesn't seem like it's in the outskirts. Seems like it's kind of in the middle of town. Okay, though. Go off, sis.
figure seen drifting down the lane towards the old house. Intrigued by this tale of the paranormal, Guy and Terry decided to investigate for themselves, armed with their cameras. The house, situated on a remote country road, was an antiquated structure, devoid of any modern amenities such as glass windows. Intrigued by the tales, Guy and Terry resolved to inspect the abandoned mansion.
The men decide to investigate the deserted house with their own cameras. This is the actual videotape from that unforgettable night. And Terry develops the film from his still camera.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. I had machines were trying to stop me from streaming today, so I had to bypass some stuff, unfortunately.
Shocked by what he sees. 3 consecutive pictures of what appears to be a woman glowing in a pink light, floating in the second-story window. Another pink shape is captured at the back door.
Pretty much the only way I have to say I've never seen anything like that on film.
Could this be the ghost of Greencastle, or merely a photographic abnormality?
The storm during their investigation is unlike anything they have ever witnessed. The sky seems to be oozing plastic, an uncanny spectacle. The 2-story brick mansion, abandoned and decrepit, stands defiant against the storm, its silhouette enhanced by a lone tree nearby, unaware of the supernatural presence within the mansion. As they approach the house,
You give the tree magic glowing inside on.
shrouded by an unnerving tree hedge, a lightning storm rolled in, adding to the ominous atmosphere with flashes of brilliant light.
Now that does look more like the building than the other pictures they were showing, though.
Braving the eerie ambience, Guy ventured into the upstairs section of the house, a place his companions refused to explore. Guy experienced a sensation so
Ghostly writing. You gonna tell us what it said?
otherworldly and indescribable that it could only be likened to a heartbeat that wasn't his own. It felt as if a substantial maternal presence wrapped her arms around him.
While we were in the house, I felt something.
You hear that? Heartbeat?
It was undescribable. I never felt it before in my life.
Then I hear a heartbeat. Do you hear it?
It's as if the presence of a woman, a big woman, come up and just wrap her arms around you. And this thing hugged me.
Hugging him tightly before melting into him. This was the
Hot. I want to go and get felt up by a ghost. Consent just should work in the same way in the afterlife. So I'm like, if there's a presence here, squeeze my rack. Anyway.
closest he could imagine to the feeling of being possessed. Feeling a sense of dread and the pulse of an alien heartbeat, Guy fled from the house in a panic. His friends, witnessing a peculiar pink glow emanating from his head, were deeply frightened. As they left, Terry managed to capture one last image. In a moment of surprise, he declared, "Well, it seems we have a ghost at the back door." And indeed, it was just as he had suspected. The apparition...
So, like, this was a ghost powered by the pink mood slime from Ghostbusters 2.
glimmered with a golden hue, hauntingly similar to the spectral entity they had spotted in the front window, which still puzzled him greatly. First ethereal head that soared past him, he managed to frame it in the viewfinder of his camera. As it whizzed by him, it scrutinized him, looking him up and down before speeding away. As it moved past, it glanced back at him, pulling a face that was almost human in its expressiveness. Turning his attention to a photograph of family portraits, he noticed a familiar figure standing amidst the group. It was the brother, and the ghostly head bore an uncanny resemblance to his hairstyle. The second apparition that flew past seemed to resemble a woman. She didn't just whiz by. She floated right up to him, reaching out to touch his camera before veering off in a different direction. The thought struck him then, if after death, we become energy and gain the ability to fly around, what a fabulous journey that would be.
The problem with that is that your energy has to be... I mean, energy just loose, dissipates. So it kind of has to be contained, right? Maybe ghosts get burned by the sun. They have to, like, stay in, like, the closet. Or the basement, or the attic. Someplace spooky. That makes sense. That's all coming together now. The reason ghosts are in attics and closets and basements and crawl spaces is because they have to hide from the sun during the day because it melts their ghost energy away.
In a state of panic, Guy and Terry flee the mansion, not daring to stop until they're safely inside their van. However, their ghostly encounter isn't over just yet. When Terry develops the film from his camera, he is astonished by the images. 3 consecutive pictures reveal what seems to be a woman, glowing in pink light, floating in the second-story window. Another pink figure is visible at the back door.
Now, to be completely transparent about my feelings on these photos, too, is that I think that this is some sort of reflective phenomena that we're seeing in this image.
The pictures leave him flabbergasted. In a quest for clarity,
Like, I anticipate that there's a street lamp somewhere over here. I mean, it's not directly behind it. It's off to the. It seems to be off to. Let's see, that side, yeah, of the photo. It is in the. It is back here behind the photographer, and then off slightly to what we are right. You can kind of see that there's a central lighting source here, and this glass has smudges and stuff all over it, so it's causing it to be all distorted. And this is old glass, which wasn't quite as smooth as modern glass, and would have warps and stuff to it.
Guy and Terry present the pictures to a friend and photo expert, Mick Orman.
When Terry develops the film from his still camera, he's shocked by what he sees. 3 consecutive pictures of what appears to be a woman glowing in a pink light, floating in the second-story window. Guy and Terry showed the pictures to their friend, photo expert Mick Orman.
What is in the picture? Came from
It confirms that the images are genuinely from the negatives, but has no explanation for their content. Next, they consult a computer graphics expert, Sean Dempsey. During his analysis, the photograph reveals an eerie secret, a face resembling a skull.
A computer graphics expert, Sean Dempsey. It's during Sean's high-tech examination that the photograph reveals another startling secret.
When I'm a ghost, I won't be able to squeeze people's racks. My hands will just go right through them. Do not want. I'd be willing to try. We can make a pact. If I go before you, you go before me. Y'all are making a pact to squeeze each other's racks in the afterlife. I love it. That's what this channel's all about. That can inspire people to get together and make plans for the afterlife, to feel each other up with ethereal palms. And you don't have, like, Aunt Jura, you just gotta be very careful not to go through. You just gotta, you just want the cold chill of your ghostly hands on the nips. Right? Just that, without, like, ooh, I got some cold spots for you. You know? I think it takes a lot of imagination to see a woman in those images. Yeah.
Tried something called bas relief, which basically takes the light and dark parts of the picture and emphasizes them. And I got the creepiest thing from this one photo.
Yeah, if you turn it into a bas relief, but it gives you also, look at the texture, the side of the building shows you how none of this is comporting with reality,
face,
right?
And I don't know how else to describe it, but that to me just looks like a skull.
He thought it was indeed horrendous for them to tear down this house simply because it had gained notoriety on TV.
It didn't look like it was in too bad a shape either. Let's go back and look at it one more time. When you're gone. Alright. It doesn't look like it's in, like, terrible bad shape. Needs a new roof. But, I mean, that's... I mean, I don't know what the inside of it looks, but I love these cutout windows. Instead of tearing it down, let me buy it for $1. Anyway, yeah. We need to be wrapping this up, so...
And they wanted to prevent people from investigating these phenomena. The whole situation was deeply upsetting. He could still recall the image of himself sitting on the pile of rubble, mourning the loss of the house. In one of the photos, an orb could be seen right next to him, almost as if the spirit shared his sorrow.
Okay, honey, I'm gonna... I appreciate the enthusiasm, but this is definitely a finger. That's a finger.
What was even more distressing were these spirits.
Native atheist, are you endowed to have a ghost squeeze your rack? You gotta have the parts in order to get your rack squoze. Squoze. I think squoze is past tense.
Were naturally drawn to the allure of the unknown. The spine-chilling encounters recounted by their friends.
The sign called it the O'Hare House or O'Hare Manor. I guess
were not just mere ghost stories for them, but rather a challenge and an
The stretch of the term mansion.
opportunity to explore the uncharted realms of the supernatural. One of the primary reasons for their decision to explore the haunted house was their keen interest in the paranormal. The tales of spectral happenings and unexplainable phenomena piqued their curiosity. They wanted to experience firsthand the ethereal entities and the eerie happenings that were said to inhabit the old house in Green Castle. This exploration was a way for them to delve deeper into the mysteries of the supernatural world. Another driving force of skepticism and openness, providing them with a balanced perspective. Furthermore, Guy and Terry were also inspired by the thrill of the adventure. The idea of exploring a haunted house with its inherent risks and potential for unique experiences was an exciting prospect. It was an opportunity for them to step out of the mundane and
Squozed is the past tense of squeeze. Squozded. I like that.
adventure into the extraordinary. A chance for them to test their bravery against the unknown. They also had a hope to document their experiences. They believed that if they could capture evidence of the supernatural, it could contribute to the broader understanding of such phenomena. This was not just about personal satisfaction, but also about contributing to the field of paranormal research. In a nutshell, a combination of curiosity, the desire for validation, the thrill of adventure, and the hope of contributing to paranormal research led Guy and Terry to make the decision to explore the haunted house in Green Castle, Indiana.
I'd shown a little local TV studio what I had, and they thought, wow, that's fantastic. So they...
That is so a picture of somebody's finger. See, I love real anomalous research. I love when we're looking into real phenomena. The pink window picture I'm actually into. I have a pretty good idea what I think's going on there, but I appreciate the uniqueness of it, and it does kind of pop out as something strange. This is very clear what it is. Like, sure enough? Are you sure?
This is me. The first at a different direction.
Well,
Kind of looks like it's a misty day, and there's mist blowing around, and lights going through the mist.
what do you think about Guy and Terry's ghostly investigation of the Green Castle Mystery House? It's a shame that they told...
All right, what do you guys think about the Pink Lady ghost phenomenon? All right, what do you think? What do you think about this whole thing? I like doing the ghost segments, and this is the second week in a row that you all have picked a kind of haunting, sort of topic for Cryptic Corner. Cryptic Corner is always kind of creepy, but like last week it was the Robert the doll, the haunted doll, and this week it's the Pink Lady ghost. Y'all be loving some ghost right now. Summer of the Ghost, I call it. Woo! All right, but I need to know your opinions on the Pink Lady ghost. Is there a blue lady ghost? Is there a purple lady ghost? Ask those questions down below. Is there a lime green lady ghost? We don't know, but we'll find out together as a hive. All right, so for my Cryptic Corner viewers, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right. Live from the Hive audience, thank you so much for sticking with me. And thank you for bouncing through to find this stream when I had to rebroadcast it elsewhere. Here's what's going on now. We're going to bounce over to some High Strangeness, and we're going to get high. Now, High Strangeness should have a new intro that plays, but that'll be after the intermission. But I will be back with you. I'm going to refresh my coffee. And then, and then we will be in there. Y'all can tell me what you think of the new intro. There's going to be a new intro for Mind Over Matter, too. But that's not till next week. So if you want to see that new intro, you got to show up. You got to show up for that. But do not leave. I'm doing a head count. So don't leave. We will be back in just a moment.
There are moments when we cannot believe that what is happening is really true. Pinch yourself and you may find out that it is.
This heat is just driving me crazy. I don't know if I can take much more.
The condition of retrogradation is contrary or inharmonious to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare.
Hello? Hello?
It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history.
All right. Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to High Strangeness, where we're gonna get high and look at some strangeness. So, if you smoke, join me now, or whatever you want to imbibe in on a Saturday morning. A lot of people are just doing coffee right now, but if you're watching this in the evening, feel free to participate. So, tonight's topic is not even all that strange. We are talking about ball lightning, which is a phenomenon that goes way back. It goes way back, like we're talking like Benjamin Franklin time period, right? And we are taking it all the way back there too. It's barely even a 410 phenomena because yeah. Fuck up your Saturday breakfast with Brie. I'm about that live. High strangeness. No, yeah, this is... I've kind of honed in on what we're going to do on this topic of this section of the show. This section is not going to be on every week, though. So every other week, it's going to swap out places with Mind Over Matter until I figure out how I'm going to do the thing with both shows. Because, yeah. Anyway, high strangeness. Ball lightning is barely 14 because there's a lot of evidence that it's like a real phenomena. To the tune that serious scientific investigation has taken place and been fairly inconclusive, but you know, people see ball lightning, people experience ball lightning. And even, let's see, we got Astrum is the channel we're looking at here. I don't know why Clint looks so sad in this thumbnail. I'm going to have to find out after the show. But Astrum gives, like, it's not like a woo-woo channel or anything. It's, you know, real stuff. Real phenomena. And today, we're going to have to take their little breakdown of ball lightning, and we're going to run with that.
Thanks to Mel Science for sponsoring today's video. In recent years, researchers have documented a number of weird atmospheric phenomena on Earth that were previously unproven or even unknown. There are transient...
I love, there's elves and sprites and all these cool phenomena that go up above the clouds that we as a species didn't even know about or vaguely knew about from seeing from mountaintops and things like that. That we've been able to identify and categorize with elves and sprites and things like that. Ball lightning kind of fits into this.
Events like red sprites, blue jets, gigantic jets, and elves. There are noctilucent clouds, and rarely seen variants of familiar phenomena like green lightning and red auroras. These are just a few of the incredible occurrences we've been able to observe and verify. Yet, despite amazing advances in our technology and research capabilities, there are still phenomena that are almost completely outside our ability to prove them. Of these, none is stranger and more terrifying than ball lightning, an alleged electrical occurrence so mind-boggling that it sounds, well, made up.
I will say I've never seen representation of ball lightning looking like this.
Ball lightning has been reported so many times and received so much scientific scrutiny that it occupies an unusual place between science and folklore. But, unlike most myths, ball lightning has a mounting body of evidence that suggests we should not only take its existence seriously.
Seeing ball lightning when you're, no, I'm off camera a little bit. Ball lightning when you're a mage, you use lightning powers or storm powers. Ball lightning is like the lowest grade. It's like once you get lightning bolt, you stop using ball lightning. It's like the fire bolt of the lightning class, right? But in reality, the way that ball lightning is presented should be the more destructive, right? It's almost like if a lightning bolt is a rifle, then ball lightning is like a bazooka. Allegedly, because it's floating along like this, but they're supposed to explode and yeah.
But we might already have proof that it does. So, what is ball lightning? How are scientists attempting to reproduce it in laboratories? And if it is a real phenomenon, as many experts believe, why is it so difficult to prove? I'm Alex McColgan, and you're watching Astrum. Join me today as we look at the fascinating history of ball lightning encounters, examine some of the most intriguing new theories out there, and learn about stunning laboratory experiments that are attempting to get to the bottom of one of science's strangest unsolved mysteries. For centuries, accounts of ball lightning have come from all over the world. The stories vary, but many agree on certain details. The phenomenon appears as a bright burning orb, sometimes golf ball sized and sometimes much larger. It's usually white or blue, but can also be red, orange, or yellow.
I actually went to school with a guy who said that a ball of lightning came through his wall, hit his TV, and his TV exploded with a concussive blast that left his ears ringing and his nose bleeding. And he was like disoriented. What that could have been, we don't know. Because he experienced it alone in his place. It blew up the TV, so there was physical evidence that it happened. But joining on my way to sleep. I love the look, Bree, and ball lightning. Yeah. Look, you get to choose your color, though. Different ball. These ones have different attributes. This is your standard starter ball lightning. From here, you can choose frostbite ball lightning, which means it'll shock and freeze them. You can also do life drain, where this will steal the life force and give it to you. Obviously, there's the perfect combo of fireball lightning, and then here this one is with extra static shock. So
The phenomenon is said to last between 1 and several seconds, float in a slow path, at times changing direction, sometimes even erratically, and has been alleged to pass through walls and windows unscathed.
And Miss Lemon is all the way on the other side of the globe, where we're going to be looking at some ball lightning. Not exactly where she is, but in Russia, in just a second. Thank you for putting me on as you turn in for the night, Miss Lemon. It is the 4th of July here. As a former citizen of the U.S., yeah. I don't know if you still recognize that or not. If I would, if I left the United States, I don't know if I'd ever look back. But you know, we all do what we do for our own reasons.
According to some reports, the ball lightning fizzles. In others, it explodes violently, causing severe damage, leaving behind an odor that has been described as sulfurous. At its most destructive, ball lightning has been reported to maim and kill people, and to blast apart heavy walls, doors.
Yes, on the other side of the flat pancake Earth. Do we still have the flat Earth? Nope, I took it down. Well, maybe I did. Yeah. The flat. I used to have a flat Earth emoji, but I don't. Since I don't cover a lot of flat Earth stuff anymore. I used to cover a lot of flat Earth stuff.
And ships. Now, on this channel, we don't accept anecdotal evidence as proof, no matter how compelling. Only observation, controlled testing, and repeatability can confirm a phenomenon scientifically. So, with that in mind, let's look at a few of the alleged ball lightning encounters I find most intriguing. In 1739, the Catherine and Mary were sailing down the Gulf Coast of Florida.
You know, my favorite part of the 4th of July, I did like fireworks, but like it's funny that it's talking about all the different colors of lightning, because whatever different minerals are around is alleged to be what causes the lightning to change some different colors. But that's one of my favorite things with the 4th of July was the fireworks, because I like the different metals. I don't know how sensitive you guys are to it, but like, I could close my eyes and you could shoot off a firework and I could smell it and tell you what color it is. Like, just the different metals and different materials that go into them when they explode. They smell different. Some of them smell more gunpowdery, and some of them smell like almost like a penny. The green ones smell like a penny. The blue ones smell like a penny too, but not quite as much. There's just a whole lot of factors that come into play. And I used to make my own because I worked at this magnesium car parts factory, and we'd file all day long, filing the edges off of the parts so that they'd fit and whatnot. Anyhow, the shavings, we would collect those in in bins, but those shavings are basically fireworks. Like you light up that magnesium, you get it burning. That's a white firework. That's the basis for all crackly fireworks that you see. Now, since it was a magnesium plant that I worked in, about every 2 or 3 months, someone in the die casting portion would set off a fireworks show, and we'd have a fireworks show for about 20 minutes. With everything catching fire and burning off. They had their own fire department to deal with it because the local municipalities were not equipped to deal with such hot burning magnesium fires with so much concentrated magnesium. So it makes me wonder if ball lightning could be something similar to that, or something reactive to there being magnesium in the environment. Like the ball lightning moves through your home, right? And something has a magnesium. Because what magnesium is kind of a brittle metal, but it's used in a lot of car parts because it's so light. It holds it casts well, and it's so light compared to other metals of similar density. Aluminum's really good too, but magnesium has some special attributes to make it good for doing things like underneath your dashboard in your car, stuff like that. So, ball lightning reacting, or lightning or electrons in the atmosphere reacting to magnesium in your vehicle or your home. I don't know of a lot of things in people's home that have magnesium, but
when it ran into a deadly thunderstorm. According to an eyewitness, a large ball of fire.
I gotta preface this with by saying that I am absolutely not saying that's a fact. I'm speculating. But yeah, just to clarify on that.
Fell from the element and split our mast in 10,000 pieces, killed one man, another had his hand carried off, and had it not been for the violent rains, our sails would have been a blast of fire. That's quite a story, but it gets weirder. In 1753, Georg Richtmann, a renowned professor and electrical researcher, was attending a conference in St. Petersburg when he saw a storm approaching. Bringing an engraver to record his observations, he hurried to conduct a kite experiment like the one Benjamin Franklin had performed the previous year. As reported afterwards by the engraver, Richtmann was conducting the experiment when a fiery blue orb crawled down the string, fatally striking him and knocking the engraver unconscious. The reported autopsy found a coin-sized red mark on the professor's...
And this is very similar to... And that's the thing about the kid I went to school with. Like, as far as I know, he was like a straight-edge kid. He didn't present this as, like, any kind of anomalous phenomenon either. He said, my house got hit by lightning, and this ball of lightning came through my wall. It didn't leave any marks, just came right through the wall, flew towards the TV, hit the TV, exploded, and, like... everything, like there was electric shock that flew through everything, and I was disoriented. Everything smelled like burning. I think he says, yeah, his nose was bleeding. He had ringing in his ears. Very similar to what my brother said he experienced when him and his girlfriend were parked under a transformer up on the power lines, and it exploded. Very similar reactions, bodily reactions.
Forehead, and injuries consistent with electrocution. But maybe the most compelling eyewitness account comes from 1963, when R.C. Jennison, a researcher at the University of Kent, was flying late at night from New York to Washington. Jennison was sitting in the cabin shortly after midnight when the plane became enveloped in a bright electrical discharge. Within seconds, a bright glowing sphere about 20 centimeters in diameter emerged from the pilot's cabin and traveled the length of the aircraft. In 1969, Jennison published his observations in precise detail in the pages of Nature magazine. Due to credible reports like Jennison's, scientists have taken the phenomenon seriously and put forward numerous models to explain it. One theory proposes that ball lightning could be a hallucination triggered by the magnetic field close to a lightning strike.
It could be something like similar to... I wonder if it could be something similar to St. Elmo's fire, which is reacting to the elements in the mast itself. Or if it could be reacting to elements in the environment, elements in the atmosphere.
In similar hallucinations experienced during epileptic seizures, this theory suggests that ball lightning could be a figment of the stimulated occipital lobe. However, if true, it would seemingly contradict reported damages caused by ball lightning, such as the death of Georg Richtmann. Another hypothesis proposes that ball lightning is a contained plasma reaction, like St. Elmo's fire, the phenomenon famously observed on the masts of ships, when the voltage between the air and the ground is great enough to break the air molecules into highly excited particles. According to this theory, the plasma in ball lightning becomes a self-contained bubble that behaves as a soliton, a self-reinforced wave that maintains its shape and moves at constant velocity.
So I learned about St. Elmo's fire from Moby Dick. There's a scene where Captain Ahab takes there's St. Elmo's fire on the when he's like getting crazy for going after Moby Dick. St. Elmo's fire on the mast, and he takes a harpoon and sticks it in it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna use this to kill the whale." I think that is the harpoon. I believe that's the harpoon that ends up tangled around his leg, dragging him down with the whale. But that's how I learned about it, and I thought it was really cool, but I didn't know that it was like something like well understood. St. Elmo's fire is pretty well understood. I hope within my lifetime that ball lightning becomes well understood too.
Worry if you find this confusing. We're touching on a pretty complicated subject that even researchers are still struggling to understand. One of the most promising hypotheses was proposed by John Abrahamson and James Dinnis at the University of Canterbury, Christchurch in the year 2000. This model proposes that a powerful positive lightning strike can vaporize molecules in soil, causing energized nanoparticles that then react with oxygen in the air to produce light and heat. And remarkably, this model is supported by a strange incident that occurred 10 years ago in Lanzhou, China. Remember when I said that there weren't any verified recordings of ball lightning? Well, that may not be entirely true. In July 2012, researchers from Northwest Normal University had set up spectrometers to record ordinary lightning when a powerful...
What about like, yeah, now it's got me thinking about like the stuff I'm always saying, oh, that's a drone.
lightning strike produced a glowing white orb. The orb had an estimated glow 5 meters across, which turned red as it traveled for 10 meters before ascending into the air. All this was recorded with high-speed video, which sadly hasn't been made public, and the spectrometer reading, which has. The spectrometer confirmed emission lines from silicon, calcium, and iron, all common
I would love to see the video, though.
in soil. So, if this observed phenomenon was in fact ball lightning, as it appears, then it adds strong evidence to support the vaporized silicon hypothesis. But the model doesn't account for certain behaviors described in ball lightning encounters, such as the ability to pass through solid matter. So what does this mean? Well, either those accounts are wrong, or ball lightning could actually be a...
I love when there's like pretty well demonstrated, scientifically demonstrated phenomena that we don't quite understand what causes it yet. It makes me want to go like this. I just realized I needed to change the logos on the above me because it still says WIW. We don't even do weak and weird anymore. Change it to high strangeness so I can get high why I do it.
collection of separate phenomena. In addition to proposing theoretical models, scientists have attempted to reproduce ball lightning in laboratories with incredible results. One experiment at the Max Planck Institute reported producing a ball lightning type effect when researchers discharged a high voltage capacitor into liquid water. In 2006, researchers at Tel Aviv University conducted an experiment by pointing a microwave drill made up of a magnetron and a microwave beam at a strip of solid silicon. When the researchers pulled the beam away, the drag produced a tiny ball of plasma, nearly identical in appearance to reports of ball lightning. An astonishing result, to be sure, but is this laboratory-produced phenomenon the same as the ones reported in nature? It's very possible, but as of right now, we simply don't know. Another experiment, conducted in 2018, came to even more stunning conclusions. Using advanced experimental engineering, physicists
I wish they'd get all weird and say there's faces in here, but yeah, I get why they
successfully created a Shankar skyrimion, a quasi-particle that is like a tangled three-dimensional magnetic field. Without getting too complicated, what the researchers did was apply an external magnetic field to a system of rubidium atoms near absolute zero. The magnetic field controlled the atoms in such a way that they all spun facing the same direction on the knot surface, while twisting unusually on the inside. In other words, the magnetic field maintained a stable spherical configuration, able to do things like squish or deform while still retaining its essential properties. This discovery could have major implications for quantum computing, but researchers also believe the synthetic magnetic field they created models the expected electromagnetic field of ball lightning. This theory will require a lot of follow-up research, but it's a promising discovery that could explain some of ball lightning's alleged characteristics.
I'm pretty stoked for it.
Such as the ability to pass through solid barriers. So there we have it, a survey of the incredible history of ball lightning encounters, as well as the cutting-edge research that has come tantalizingly close to proving it. So what do you think? Do you find any of these theories convincing? Have you, or anyone you know, ever experienced an encounter with something that looked like ball lightning? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I also love that as humans, we are so naturally inquisitive and curious. I remember when I was young, my parents got me a chemistry set, and I was instantly hooked and intrigued. Experimenting with it really helped me develop my love of science today. Mel Science approached me with their kids' STEM, physics, and chemistry sets aimed at small children, all the way to teenagers, and I was...
So, yeah, they're doing an advertisement now. I'm not going to sit and watch all that, but yeah, this was Astrum. Not a channel that necessarily needs my support. 2.82 million subscribers. So, yeah, definitely don't need my support to get their channel subscribers. I could use their support. Hey, Astrum, I'm talking about this too. Anyway, we got more though. Our Russian friend that we've covered multiple times now on this channel. Paranormal research, Paul Stonehill. We've talked about so many different things with this fella here over the years in the Hive. Oh goodness, he's getting into gracious. But I do like learning about 14 phenomena from Russia that kind of flew under the radar so much here because of the Cold War. Their paranormal research, because they were trying to keep up with, like we just talked about, Duke's paranormal or parapsychology and all that. So, You got all sorts of unique claims. The Sewell Princess was one of them. But Attack of the Ball Lightning's just here more recently. So, Enigma of the Bees, I guarantee that's going to talk about Grubikanov's flying machine. We got some pterosaurs. Anyway, so this channel is going to tell us about ball lightning. What I'm presuming, based on what I've heard so far, is ball lightning attacks. But let's dive in. And I'm gonna go ahead and start this at 1.5 speed, so we're already used to it. And I'll close captioning on because he's got an accent.
Hello, YouTube. Ball lightnings attacked homes of Russian people, not drones. Ball lightnings. 2 houses in Russia. On Monday, May 25, year 2026, ball lightnings hit houses in 2 Russian regions. First, a semi-detached wooden house in the city of Shinkursk in Arhangelsk region was damaged. The glowing sphere pierced the paneling and the inside of the wall. Only the structure was damaged. The residents were not injured. The second case occurred in the village of Starozhevsk in the Komi Republic. Because of the ball lightning, a fire broke out in a private house there. The fire covered an area of 30 square meters. While people were not injured by the fire, Moscow and the region were urged to prepare for danger. It is possible that the fireballs, meaning ball lightnings, will soon appear in other regions of Russia. Where can you encounter this dangerous phenomenon and how to protect yourself from it? Russian media was asked. In Moscow, the season of this phenomenon falls during the summer thunderstorms, with a peak in July. A human encounter with this phenomenon does not always lead to death. Burns and wounds are more common consequences. The main rule when encountering ball lightning is to remain calm and not make sudden movements. There is no need to abruptly approach it or run away in the opposite direction. This way you can create an air current that will force the sphere.
So it's going to chase you if you run. That's kind of funny. I suffered with ball lightning. My urologist has now got it in check. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that you've got your ball lightning under control. With how fast light is and how much slower our perception is compared to it, maybe presenting as a ball is more due to our perception. I mean, that's possible. We shall see.
To follow the person who created it. Scientists strongly recommend against waving your arms and trying to touch the floating object, especially with metal objects. The best strategy.
Scientists always taking all the fun out of me getting freaking superpowers. If I see ball lightning, I'm grabbing that, because if I can have lightning powers, I'm gonna have lightning powers, right? I mean, it's just like if I saw like a fireball floating in the air. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna grab it and get them fire powers.
Is to freeze in place and wait for the ball lightning to fly away. What is ball lightning? The ball lightning looks like a glowing sphere that moves chaotically in the air. This natural phenomenon most often occurs in stormy weather and still has no clear scientific explanation. The diameter of the ball can reach from 10 centimeters to several meters, and its color can be yellow, orange, red, white, or blue, of varying degrees of intensity. Eyewitnesses also note a hissing sound and an unpleasant, pungent odor. Scientists suggest...
So 10 centimeters, that's like, it's like just under 6 inches or so, I believe. Well, no, because 30 centimeters is 12 inches. That's my conversion there, because I was raised to be a dumb American, right? So, it would be 4 inches. Yeah, so about the size of a crystal ball. Who would have thunk?
That like ordinary lightning, this ball sphere consists of plasma and ionized gas with 3 electrons and positively and negatively charged ions. However, it has not yet been possible to prove this. Unlike linear lightning, ball lightning lives longer in the air, from 10 seconds to a minute. At the end of existence, an explosion usually occurs, but sometimes the phenomenon simply disintegrates into...
See, that's what I'm saying. When in video games and stuff, and when you get mage powers, the ability to shoot lightning is always better than the ability to shoot a ball. Like they call it a static shock or whatever. This is release ball lightning, which kind of like moves like a ball across the screen. But what it should do is that ball should explode in electric damage, right? Electrical damage or lightning damage or whatever you call it.
Individual particles and slowly fades away. There are many hypotheses about how ball lightning appears, but none of them have been fully accepted in the academic community. The electrical hypothesis do not explain how energy supplies to the ball hanging in the air, and the chemical hypothesis do not agree with the fact that people's injuries after a collision with the ball lightning resemble electric shock. Ball lightning can enter rooms through open windows, chimneys, cracks, or even through glass. It is capable of moving against the wind or along conductors and leaving behind burns, meltdowns, or explosive damage. But now, let's look at what Russian physicist Alexander Kostinsky...
See, it even gives you damage stats for it and the stuff it can do. It'll do explosive damage, electrical damage.
had to say about ball lightning a few years ago. Hypothesis of its existence and modeling of this phenomenon in the laboratory. The first scientific description of ball lightning was given in the book in English translation Thunder and Lightning by French physicist François Arago in the early 19th century. This is the first book about this lightning, the electrical nature of which was discovered half a century before. Arago's book described 2,000 cases of ball lightning sightings. Its properties are still difficult to determine because the descriptions mostly belong to people who were not scientists and were usually not done in hot pursuit. Ball lightning, as a difficult to study and therefore mysterious phenomenon, has become popular in popular culture. But scientists who decide to investigate this phenomenon need to be very careful to take into account only really reliable data.
If I'm scared, is that psychic damage? Yeah. Yep. So, well, what would you consider a sort of curse or shout or something that causes you to flee in terror? Yeah. So it wouldn't necessarily do damage, but it caused your character to flee. So maybe they'd miss a turn. You'd miss a turn, Liam.
The first full-fledged scientific observation of ball lightning has recently been published, but also raises questions. So what is called a ball lightning? Eyewitnesses immediately call any sphere, glowing and moving phenomenon in the air a ball lightning. This may be an event that people saw after lightning struck a high voltage line or a tree. This is also the name of an object that appeared in a room flying out of a chimney or appeared with a hiss from an outlet. The researchers who collected information about this phenomenon relied on a rather unreliable source, eyewitness reports. Witnesses of the phenomenon say that the size of...
It'd be great if every now and then outlets just farted out ball lightning just randomly, like you'd be like just hanging out and scrolling through your phone, all of a sudden your outlet was like and a little staticky ball. And it, like, when it popped, it make your hair go. That would just be a fun little quirk of our reality if we could cause that to be a thing that happened.
The ball lightning is from 5 centimeters to a meter. The glow lasts from fractions of a second to several seconds and even tenths of seconds. When in contact with ball lightning, people often experienced severe electric shock, even fatal. Some observers spoke about hissing of the ball lightning, that it was a tangle of luminous...
That's showing St. Elmo's fire.
Channels of blue color, but in large ball lightning there were also red colors. Ball lightning passes through the glass and it even seemed to be seen inside the aircraft. Ball lightning is most often seen after an ordinary lightning strike, but a lightning bolt looks like a very bright flash of light up close. Therefore, at the beginning of the 20th century, there were scientists who believed the ball lightning was not a physical phenomenon, but an artifact, an eye flare. If you look at the bright flash lamp when photographing or a strobe light at the disco, then for a few seconds there'll be a feeling of moving.
Oh, like a visual effect. But the external phenomena causing, damage and stuff kind of nullifies that. Unless you're saying the damage was caused by actual lightning strike, but because of the way our eyes work, we're stuck seeing this this visual artifact, which I think is what D was getting at earlier, with us just visually seeing an orb, just because of the way our eyes work.
Light spot in the eyes, regardless of whether they are closed or open eyes. What is the main problem with ball lightning? The huge interest in ball lightning is caused not by the fact that it has the shape of a ball or a sphere, but by the fact that the nature of its long lifetime is still unclear. In general, in nature, if you do not have a dedicated direction, many phenomena take the form of a ball. For example, drops when falling down. There are no serious problems in creating a spherical plasma formation.
Oh yeah, I'm in New Mexico. Green chilies are in everything.
Between two electrodes for as long as possible using low current electric arcs. The same applies to a spherical plasma formation in free space, supported by a beam of microwave electromagnetic radiation. With great ingenuity, it can be created even in a microwave oven, which was once done by Japanese scientists. In this phenomena, electromagnetic energy is supplied to the discharged plasma from the outside, and there are no problems with maintaining such plasma. But most researchers, and
I
especially...
do like this image, though, with the purple swirling around. Kind of does look like an eye. Look like an eye of like a storm wizard.
The amateurs assume that no external energy is supplied to the ball lightning. Plasma is a gas in which there are many free electrons, and therefore plasma has high conductivity. A significant current flows through it as through a wire with a high resistance. If you stop supplying energy to the plasma, then in a few millionths of a second, the electrons will disappear, the current will stop, and the plasma will go out. And if this is the case, then it is necessary to explain why ball lightning, if it is a plasma formation, lives so long. There are many amazing optical and electrical atmospheric phenomena.
I think, I don't know, I'm not a physicist or anything, but if I had to speculate, I would say it's getting fuel from something in the environment and in which the circumstances are just right. But I don't know. Sometimes lightning lasts a lot longer than you'd expect it to as well.
For example, the lights of St. Elmo, which burn on the mast on the night before the storm, as we heard in the song of...
They'll burn on an antenna or a airplane wing too.
Russian poet Bulat Akutjava, well-known song. Convincing physical explanations have been found for most of them. Scientists understand how it is possible to study even such an infrequent phenomenon as ordinary linear lightning. About 100 discharges occur on Earth every...
Yeah, that's cause fear. There you go, Miss Lemon. That would be the type of effect that it would add on that. So now we got ball lightning doing explosion effect, electrical damage, cause fear. Absolutely. Maybe a little bit of fire damage too, because if it hits like something like paper, I imagine it would. At least if the explosion hit it, I would imagine a little bit of fire damage might be a result. Like maybe even a negligible amount of fire damage, but fire damage would be present.
Every second. A thunderstorm cloud forms gradually, and the place from where lightning discharges will occur can be predicted with good accuracy by changing the electric field on Earth and on the ground and the movement of hydrometeors.
Gotta go do family stuff. You take care. Thank you for dropping in. Ball lightning. We still got another half an hour of ball lightning coverage though, so don't go anywhere if you want to stay around. We're gonna learn how your fireworks are made. I see how I'm tying it to the holiday. That's how.
Droplets, ice, snowflakes, and so on in the thunderstorm cell, where the main electric charge accumulates. The lenses of various physical devices can be directed to this place. St. Elmo's lights, often on fire, often during thunderstorms, lightning starts from tall buildings.
The idea that the fire damage of the ball lightning would be like 1 to 5 hit points, whereas the lightning damage that you would get from it would be like 25 to 240 or something like that. And, oh, it'd have knockback too. You'd think it'd have knockback.
Television towers, more than 200 meters size, on the tips of which
more than
devices can also
meters.
be placed. In addition,
I've not
scientists
heard that.
have been able to summon lightning from a thundercloud unto themselves for 60 years. That is to create the so-called...
Wait, what? Hold on. This is what I want to learn to do.
Devices can also be placed. In addition, scientists have been able to summon lightning from a thundercloud unto themselves for 60 years. That is to create the so-called trigger lightning. Despite this, many of the key problems of conventional lightning are still poorly...
Okay, so I can create a suit. Like, I can become a supervillain. I can create a suit allowing me to draw lightning. And it sounds like maybe it doesn't matter where... No, it probably does matter exactly where you are. And I'm sure it doesn't... the reaction time is pretty slow, but...
understood, let alone ball lightning. Since its nature is unclear, it is unclear where, armed even with devices to expect it. The main hypothesis, at the beginning of the 20th century, there was a hypothesis that suggested that due to the large distance from which ball lightning is usually observed, we do not see how a thin plasma channel stretches from the cloud to it due to its current.
And I don't like hot peppers. I don't like hot much of anything anymore. I used to enjoy hot stuff, but I have enough stomach problems and digestive problems that why aggravate it more?
To its current, the existence of ball lightning is maintained. Now, scientists know quite a lot about the current of ordinary lightning and have established that the discharge lasts a maximum of a second, while it will consist of many separate bright shocks with high current, between which there are interruptions, during which the current to the ground practically stops. And ball lightning with a lifetime of 10 seconds or more was recorded, while no strong lightning strikes were observed through them. Otherwise, witnesses to such events would simply receive electric shocks of such force that they would not be able to tell about their impressions later. Scientists
That's more like ring lightning. Look at that.
Also well aware of the size of the charges accumulated in the cloud from ground and aircraft observations, and there are also not many of them there to ensure the long life of plasma formations. It turned out that it is not yet possible to explain the maintenance of life of ball lightning using known manifestations of natural atmospheric electricity. Therefore, many exotic explanations of the nature of ball lightning have appeared, including from scientists who have become obsessed with this phenomenon. From other fields,
it's cool though, because like something's going on. That's how scientists are acting about this phenomenon. I wish they were about lots of other topics, right? I wish that they were excited about like Bigfoot sightings and stuff, like getting people out in the field, like taking samples, and you don't get that. I mean, you do get that, but it's not real like university researchers, right? It's Uncle Jim Bob and his pickup truck. It's a YouTuber like me. Maybe if you're lucky, some sort of Bigfoot research organization comes out and looks around. But usually, no. No university is touching it with a 10-foot pole.
of physics who are not well versed in atmospheric electricity and do not take into account all the accumulated observational material in their hypothesis. For example, Pyotr Leonidovich Kapitsa, an academician and a Nobel laureate in the Soviet Union, suggested that the ball lightning is supported by a beam of microwave radiation, as in a microwave oven.
Oh, I am such an Agent Mulder. I want to believe. I just need. There's my brain is too advanced to just believe without evidence. There are things that I did, certain things that I believe in or have, and believe is a strong word there. There are things that I speculate may be true or may have causes that we don't understand. And I love to speculate on, like me talking about, maybe there's different metallic ions in the air that cause these ball lightning to be different colors because of what I know about metal and fireworks and stuff. I'm not like saying that's a scientific fact or anything. It's fun to speculate on. It's fun to be like, what causes ions to burn red? And you think about what metals you could use in the construction and the atmosphere. What causes it to be blue? Causes it to be green?
And the microwave radiation itself comes from lightning. But when studying lightning, it was not possible to detect any serious streams of microwave radiation. Microwave radiation is easily measured over long distances, as it is used to detect airplanes, missiles, and measure the speed or velocity of vehicles, cars. Some scientists involved in nuclear physics have suggested that ball lightning has a nuclear energy source, but nuclear processes are a monstrous energy that cannot be generated by lightning. In addition, it creates radioactivity, which is also easy to measure. In places where ball lightning was observed, several attempts were made to measure radioactivity, but it did not.
Yeah, I would think that they wouldn't be radioactive. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like a phenomenon that would produce radiation. Don't you need specific elements involved to produce radiation? And what elements would ball lightning create? Right? If they're reacting with elements, it's going to be the elements that are present in the environment, right? There's not a lot of like plutonium floating around in the air for this to react with, right? There's not a lot of well, I mean, there is hydrogen, I guess. That would explain the ozone scent, but the hydrogen, I mean, yeah.
It did not exceed the natural background. If ball lightning is a physical phenomenon, then its basic properties can be deduced from several thousand reliable observations. Therefore, a scientist who claims to explain the mechanism of ball lightning needs not only to propose some new unusual source of internal energy that supports ball lightning, but also to explain other established properties of ball lightning within the framework of this hypothesis. Almost none of those presenting alternative hypotheses do this. So their ideas are hanging in the air. Martin Newman, one of the most famous modern lightning scientists, together with his colleagues.
And he didn't even do a drum beat on hanging in the air, like being a ball lightning hangs in the air. So, I mean, like, again, we can speculate. I can speculate that, yeah, it seems like there may be a central element that the ball's nucleus around, and depending on what that element is and how, and the properties of it and how much is there and whatnot, may be consideration for what size and color the ball becomes as it burns through whatever it is burning through. This is just speculation on my part. Again, some metallic particles in the air catching, ionized atmosphere, creating. Yeah, and it would explain why they're spherical, because it'd be around an element. But it's all speculation on my part. However, the idea that this would be around like hydrogen elements, if it was around hydrogen elements, you'd expect it to be a lot more common than this, right? But if it's around rare elements that are rarer in the environment, that are rarer for a reaction from like the energy of a thunderstorm, then that would explain a little bit. I don't know.
They trigger lightning by launching a rocket with a grounded wire into a cloud, receiving a powerful discharge between specially shaped electrodes. But they failed to create a ball lightning, an important but controversial piece of evidence. In 2012, Chinese scientists filmed linear lightning with a spectrograph and a high-speed camera and recorded some spherical phenomenon that appeared at the moment when ordinary linear lightning struck the ground. This is a very important testimony. Their results were published in the most prestigious journal of physics, Physical Review Letters, and the editors let the term ball lightning.
So here's an idea. What if we flew a drone carrying different like finely ground minerals, right? Flew the drone up into the lightning storm and opened up the cargo bay and let magnesium, let it dust down, and then see how those activate in the lightning. And you can try different metals.
In the title, where they left it there, which indicates the recognition by serious physicists of the possibility of the existence of this phenomenon. The article was called Observations of the Optical and Spectral Characteristics of Ball Lightning. The spectrum of ball lightning caused by a lightning strike in the soil. The recording, which shows the ball glow, lasts for 1.5 seconds, which is a lot. A luminous formation appeared from the linear lightning channel directly near the surface of the Earth. According to their measurements, the size of the ball formation was at first more than 10 meters, and after a whole second more than 5 meters. And this is a lot for a ball lightning. The ball lightning glowed almost uniformly.
I mean, obviously, optimally, it would be dropping those test samples from a plane into the thunderstorm. But observation-wise, you could use drones to kind of see what's going on and what phenomena.
For a whole second, which is completely impossible without the influx of external energy. It was possible to record spectral lines related to the soil material where the linear lightning struck, and to remove the spectrum of ball lightning, silicon, iron, calcium. Moreover, spectral lines were present all the time of the recording, which means that for the same time there was a plasma supporting this glow. Combustion burning cannot explain the spectrum by any burning.
I don't know if he's going to show the video or not with the ball lightning on the railroad tracks has been like debunked. It's photoshopped. Someone made this.
The color of the fireball changed from purple to red. The glowing formation was moving at a speed of about 9 meters per second. The Russian scientist said that he would like to congratulate his Chinese colleagues on their remarkable success, but in their work itself, there's a rather strange graph of fluctuations in the luminosity of ball lightning with a period of about 100 hertz during the bright glow, which is proportional to the industrial frequency of power transmission lines, 50 hertz. The authors honestly write that 20 meters from the place where the linear lightning struck and this plasma formation appeared, there's a 35 kV high voltage power transmission line. 20 meters is not a very long distance, and a lightning channel can pass to the wet ground, reaching the support of the power line and damaging it.
Yeah, lightning go hundreds of meters, and depending on the... I don't know if y'all ever seen the video, the lightning hits the soccer field, and all the soccer players on the whole field just drop.
As a result, the current from the power line can connect to the point of contact of the lightning channel with the ground, where the ball lightning existed. It turns out that
But I think those are just like literal explosions, right? Like transformer explosions that we're looking at there. Are you saying ball lightning is the same properties as a transformer explosion?
Experiment that cannot be ruled out, that the plasma formation, called by the authors a ball lightning.
Because yeah, it does match up with, like I said, about like what happened with my brother was objectively parked underneath a transformer when it exploded. But and then that kid I went to school with who said that the ball lightning came through his wall and exploded, and both had the same results. So the idea that a transformer exploding would be similar to ball lightning kind of checks out so far.
It's not completely natural phenomenon, but possibly is supplied with the energy of the current coming from a lightning-pierced power line. Then it's clear why plasma lived for so long. It was powered by industrial electricity. It is a pity that the authors did not write in the article whether they contacted the electrical power industry, which was supposed to fix the breakdown of the transmission line, if there was one. In any case, this is important evidence in favor of the plasma nature, if not the ball lightning itself, then of the ball plasma phenomena that linear lightning can generate when it hits high voltage power lines or near them. Let's look at the chemical hypothesis. Currently, the most consistent hypothesis is about the chemical nature of the ball lightning energy source. Chemical reactions can take a relatively long time until the chemicals involved in the reactions are exhausted. For example, such a process can be a specific form of ball combustion. It was possible to create ball forms of ignition of flammable gases in the laboratory, which did not explode and existed for seconds, moving through the laboratory chamber. Suppose lightning strikes an area of swamps, where vapors and accumulations of flammable gases, such as methane, are quite common. Due to the high temperature during a lightning strike, this gas ignites and continues to burn, resembling a gas stove burner with the lid removed.
So
After all, the gas can burn for hours. If there is
we got the swamp gas making an appearance. You can't have an anomalous video about, especially about atmospheric phenomena, without swamp gas popping in. But I mean, there's a valid point there. If lightning strikes where there's gas and the gas ignites in its little bubble, it's gonna burn weird, looking like a pilot light burning.
An influx of gas from inside the swamp. But if we consider ball lightning to be a form of combustions, then how to explain its electrical manifestations, up to the injuries of humans and animals who are in contact with ball lightning? It is also very difficult to realize the nature, the motion of a burning ball, similar to those described by observers. Gases usually explode or burn up quickly.
I had not heard about that, native atheist. He said, I heard of a lightning strike in a soccer game. A whole team was killed because they wore steel cleats. The other team had plastic cleats and was untouched. Interesting. I mean, insulator versus conductor, but I hadn't heard of that. And that I've seen the video, the one hitting the soccer game where everybody just falls over.
Therefore, the chemical hypothesis cannot explain many important properties of ball lightning, but it removes the lifetime problem that exists in the plasma hypothesis. The advantage of the chemical hypothesis is that it does not need to involve very exotic concepts like obtaining energy from a vacuum or cold fusion. But this hypothesis does not correspond to the reliable Chinese experiment described above, since there were no swamps there, and the combustion...
So, something like... hypothesis again. Well, not even hypothesis, just speculation, honestly. Like the filament of a light bulb, right? Like, again, tiny particles of exotic metals in the air right, get excited or hit by the lightning, and because of the composition, the issue I run into is what's enclosing it, and I think whatever's enclosing it, whatever atmosphere it happens around it, that keeps it burning for that long, is very unstable, right? It's not like a glass ball like you do with a light bulb. It's something very unstable, and the energy is not well contained within
Spectrum is radically different from the spectrum recorded by the Chinese. However, the Chinese experiment cannot be trusted to the end either. Simulation of ball lightning in the laboratory. Several groups in the world have tried to simulate ball lightning in the laboratory settings. There are researchers who claim that they have managed to create a ball lightning with a powerful discharge in water vapor. They even posted the photos online, but there have been no serious publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals like the Chinese on the topic. Publications where their experiments would be described in detail. Plasma properties would be recorded with modern devices. The absence of additional energy supply from external sources would be guaranteed, and so on. A ball lightning effect.
The saying Shrek was based on a real person. I mean, Super Mario was too, but the person didn't, eat mushrooms and grow real big and jump on turtles, right?
In a water tank. Well, it's not enough to get an interesting long-lived spherical luminous phenomenon in the laboratory, but we need to make serious arguments in favor of the fact that we have created in the laboratory, that what we created in the laboratory is related to a natural phenomenon called ball lightning. The spark between the balls, which slips in an electrophoretic machine, has, contrary to the statements of school teachers, very little to do with lightning. It cannot explain not only how lightning is born, but also how it breaks through the cloud-Earth gap. The same applies to the creation of long-lived spherical luminous formation in the laboratory. It is also necessary to prove that the experiment simulates a natural phenomenon. Nevertheless, ball lightning still poses a serious challenge to scientists. Today it is
That one looks kind of like a disco ball.
believed that there is so much evidence of the existence of ball lightning that it is impossible to dismiss them. Perhaps ball...
I agree with that. It's impossible to dismiss it. Something's happening here, right? Sometimes there's something happening, sometimes there's not. There's almost always something happening, unless someone's just straight up lying. Like, we looked at a different phenomena earlier where we were seeing what could potentially be light reflecting off of a window in a strange way.
Lightning is not just a phenomenon, but a complex combination of known physical phenomena that we cannot yet track and decipher. Yet another phenomenon we cannot as yet decipher, just as UFOs and USOs. And I have made a video 8 years ago about Russian ball lightning cases. I'll put the site of this video in the description to this one, so you can look at it. Just click on it and it will take you to my old video. I think you'll find it very interesting. And of course, I'll be on the lookout for more interesting information, because this is an ongoing research and we know so little about this fascinating and sometimes deadly phenomenon. If you like my research, please support through the links you find in the description to this video. Please like my videos. Please subscribe.
Yeah, and we've been following him for just a little while now. Mysterious Cult of the Bear, Secret of Eurasia, Yetis. I know I just went through this again earlier, but yeah, it's a lot of anomalous research on the other side of the Iron Curtain, basically. So I really appreciate that he does this channel, and he presents things pretty concisely. So if you're interested, it's Paranormal Research with Paul Stonehill, another channel that absolutely does not need me to support them. They're doing just fine with their 20K viewers compared to my 1.49 now. Look at that. Look at that. Check this out. I'm on the cusp of 1500. So if you feel like showing some love or spreading the word or getting me those next be on a safe side, next dozen or so subscribers, we'll do something special. And with my birthday being like 10 days away, so 10 days away, my birthday, 10 subscribers, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can make it happen for my birthday. Like I said, the next episode is going to be on my birthday. So I'm going to wrap up Week in Weird here. It's not Week in Weird anymore, Brie. It's High Strangeness. Yeah, I'm going to wrap that up. Should I close it out with the music too? I love that song. Let's listen to that song one more time, and I'll be back with ya. So remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, yeah, I really enjoy that that song. It's me bopping. All right, so yeah, thank you so much for joining. Excuse me. Next week we'll have more Cryptic Corner. Excuse me. Like I said, High Strangeness. We're not gonna have more High Strangeness next week, though. We're back with Mind Over Matter, where we talk about the power of human potential. And excuse me, we'll have the polls up. Usually tomorrow. Usually it's within 48 hours, though. Within by Sunday. I think early Monday morning's the latest that I go. And sometimes there's polls for my cosplay too. I kind of winged it today because I found this freaking vest on clearance, and I'm like, oh, that vest looks so cute, I want it. And then when I got it, I kind of like looked at myself in it, I was wearing a different hat, right? And it was like a tie-dye hat. I'm like, wait a minute, if I wear that black hat, I'd look like freaking Sarah Connor from Terminator. I'm like, maybe I can cosplay as Sarah Connor from Terminator. So I'll be cosplaying some more. Be hopefully doing some more drag shows. I don't know if you saw over on the Red Flags channel, I posted my full set of me doing Jessica Rabbit's Why Don't You Do Right. So if you're interested in that, that's over on the Red Flags channel. There's going to be more stuff over there too. Over here, yeah, we're continuing. The Hive is going to continue on with our anomalous research initiative. We are going to be doing cryptozoology. We're going to do in CrypticCorner. We're going to be exploring anomalous entities. Then in segments like what you saw today, high strangeness. Well, we're going to explore all the high strangeness that we can muster up. And in a Mind Over Matter, of course, we again explore the vastness of human potential, whether that's the ability to exorcise demons or to light things on fire with your mind, to automatic write, whatever that person is claiming they have the ability to do, we're going to dive in and explore it. And if we can learn it, we're going to do a 101 course on it. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. So subscribe to the Hive. Come back every Saturday morning. That is, in my time zone right now, it's 8:30 a.m. Central's 9:30, Eastern's 10:30, 7:30 Pacific. I'm sorry if that's early for you West Coasters, but if Miss Lemon can make it from the other side of the Pacific, I think you can make it. I think you can all make it. I'm not going to count the absenteeism off of your final grade, but missing episodes will impact your ability to pass the test in November, because we'll have the Hive finals in November, and if you pass that test, then you become an official paranormal and anomalous researcher with me, and we're going to go out and explore all the creepy stuff. I'm glad you liked that song. I'm glad. There's a new song or new music with the Mind Over Matter too. I should give you guys a sneak peek of it because I worked hard on it, but I kind of want to save it for it's special. All right. Now, figuring out where to send you, you rabble to. Let me see. So, there we go. Then we're going to customization, redirect. Let's see what's going on. Alright, I'm going to send you all over to R and Rod. Yeah, I know not everybody's a fan of R and Rod, and that's fine, and they're doing Bible study stuff, but Peter, a lot of what you see me doing on this channel, a lot of it was with his help. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to learn how to do all this without without Peter's guidance, so I like to send some love to his productions. All right, so I'm gonna call it here. I want you all to remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.